And that's why, do you know how they tried to destroy Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib's character? The first way was literally destroy his name. Someone says, how could you literally destroy his name? Have you noticed the most common name of the Imams of Ahlul-Bayt is Ali? Ali Zayn al-Abidin, yes? Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, Ali al-Hadi. Ali and Muhammad are interchangeable in the names. Do you think the Imams of Ahlul-Bayt don't know how to name their children? Because today when I look at Muslim communities, I see some names which are popping out. I'm like, Habibi, where did you get that name from? Oh, it sounds cool. What do you mean cool? He says, sounds cool. I can fit into the Western world. And when the Englishman looks at me, he will say, MashaAllah, you are modern. Ali ibn Abi Talib and the Ahlul-Bayt didn't know how to name cool names. There aren't many names in the Quran we can name. There are many names. Why do the Ahlul-Bayt keep sticking to Ali and Muhammad? Ali and Muhammad. There was a message for all of us. Never, ever stop naming your children on the name of Abu Turab. If you have to name your kids Ali or Layth or Karrar or Murtaba, name them, because never let his name die in society. When Imam al-Hussein was asked, you have a son called Ali Asghar and a son called Ali al-Akbar and a son called Ali Zayn al-Abidin. Is there no other names you could give your son? He replied by saying, if I had 1,000 sons, I'll name them all Ali. What a lie. What a lie. Because what's he trying to say? He's trying to say, do you know what this campaign is all about? They want to remove my father from the legacy and annals of history. That's why they're telling you, name other names. Of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, only one Imam has a name of a prophet except Rasulullah. And that's our 7th Imam, correct or no? Other than him, it's either Ali, Muhammad, Muhammad, Ali, Ali, Muhammad. Why? Because they wanted to make sure in the name remains a legacy of a great human being. That's when you see children walking around. Karrar, Layth, Murtada, Abu Turab, Abu al-Hasan, Abu al-Sibtain. You look at them and you say, Subhanallah, Ali ibn Abi Talib never died. If his body is buried under the ground, his soul remains in the heart of every human being that no one will eradicate. Muawiyah comes to Ibn Abbas. He says, I heard you had a child. He said, yes. He said, what did you name him? He said, I named him Ali. He looked at him. He said, what the title? What title did you give him? He said, Abu al-Hasan. He said, you give him the title of the man and you give him the name. There is no other name to name, because they wanted to build in Syria. You know, in those days, Sham wasn't just Syria. Today, if you ask someone what's Sham, they say to you, Sham is Syria. In those days, Sham was Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan. From those countries until today, there are people who can't stand the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib, I guarantee you. Because their children were brought up on the legacy of personalities who didn't want the name of Ali to rise. Yes or no? The Muawiyah looks at Ibn Abbas. Hajjaj comes on the day of Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha, those of you who've been to Hajj. What do we do on Eid al-Adha? What do we sacrifice? Sheep, correct or no? Hajjaj comes to his governor. He says to him, what do Muslims do today? He said, they sacrifice sheep. He said, that's it? He said, yes. He said, do me a favor. He said, what is it? He said, go around and sacrifice anyone named after Ali ibn Abi Talib. Straight. Anyone named after Ali, go and sacrifice them. Go and behead them. I don't want to hear this man's name around. I want his name literally eradicated. That if a child is found to be named Ali, hang them or behead them. Don't let a world grow where Ali ibn Abi Talib is still remembered. The first way, eradicate his name from the annals of history. The second way, what do? You don't just eradicate his name. No, literally you make sure that his name is cursed on the pulpits on the Friday prayer. Do you know what a disgusting history we have? That from the day he died for over 50 years, no Friday prayer could begin except that it has to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib at the beginning. Today, I come to Salat al-Jum'ah. It's a miracle, isn't it? That I can come to Salat al-Jum'ah and I can hear someone say, Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'alana min al-mutamassikina bi wilayat Amir al-Mu'minin. Correct or no? There was a period for over 50 years. If a khatib of Salat al-Jum'ah did not curse Ali ibn Abi Talib, he would have to be removed from his post. You had to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib in order for you to survive. One day Muawiyah comes to Ahnaf ibn Qais. Muawiyah comes to Ahnaf ibn Qais. He says to him, Ahnaf, I need a favor from you. He said, what is it? He said, you're giving the khutbah? He said, yes. He said, curse Ali ibn Abi Talib for me. Ahnaf looked at him. He said, Muawiyah, I don't want to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib and I don't want this culture to grow. He said to him, why? He said, firstly, Ali ibn Abi Talib has gone to his grave. The man is now gone. Why do you still have to curse him? Have some respect for yourself. Secondly, if the children are used to cursing the companions, there'll be a day they'll curse the prophets of Allah. Muawiyah looked at him and he said, listen to me. You go up there on that pulpit and you curse Ali. Did you hear me or no? Ahnaf bin Qais looked at Muawiyah. He said a line I'll never forget. He said to him, I will, okay. I'm going to go up there and curse. And you know what I'm going to do as well? When I curse up there, I'm going to at the end ask the whole crowd to recite Ameen after every curse. Do you accept? He said, that sounds very good to me. He said, but you know how I'm going to curse? I'm going to tell the people, oh people, Ali ibn Abi Talib and Muawiyah son of Abu Sufyan fought at the battle of Siffin. May Allah's la'na go on the rebel of the two of them. And may Allah's la'na go on the leader of the rebellious group. I want them to say Ameen at the end. Are you now confident for me to curse? He looked at him and said, I think it's better you stay away from cursing in the prayer. 50 years, the cursing would continue until Umar bin Abdul Aziz stood up and he decided no more la'na on Ali. Umar bin Abdul Aziz showed you, if you question what your parents have given you, there is no harm. Because their ignorance can be the biggest virus. Umar bin Abdul Aziz says, I was a young man. We were taught the Quran. He said when my tutor would teach me the Quran, if my tutor said something wrong, I would foul mouth my tutor. If my tutor was late, I would foul mouth him. And he says when we were kids, the way we used to curse, if you ask any child today, what's the curse words? They'll tell you all these different curse words. In those days, the curse word was what? To curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Yes? You would send la'na on Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, we would send la'na on Amir al-Mu'mineen. One day, my Quran teacher looked at me. He said, Umar, haven't I taught you the Quran? He said, yes, you have. He said, haven't we studied the battle of Badr in the Quran? He said, yes, we have. He said, when we studied the battle of Badr in the Quran, didn't we study that those who fought on the day of Badr, Allah praises them? He said, yes, you are right. Allah praises all those who fought on the day of Badr. He says, what do you think of those who fought at Badr? He says, they are great. He says, what do you think of a man who of the 70 killed from the kuffar on the day of Badr, 35 were from his sword? He said, that man must be a great man, whoever he is. He said, the very man you send la'na on is the man who killed half the opposition on the day of Badr. Umar bin Abdul Aziz says, I was 6 at the time. He said, when I heard this, I thought to myself, you know what? When I grow up one day and become Khalifa, I'm going to make sure that la'na on Ali ibn Abi Talib stops. When he became Khalifa, first thing he did, give Fadak back to Imam al-Baqir. Second thing he did was stop the la'na on Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because he could not take the fact that society was growing up with hatred against Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he himself would say, when my father Abdul Aziz would speak about anyone, he would speak so eloquently. The moment he speaks about Ali, his name would stutter, his mouth would stutter. I'd say to him, Dad, why is it when you mention anyone else, you speak eloquent, yet when you mention the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib, you stutter? He said, my son, if the people knew the real merits of Ali ibn Abi Talib, none of us Bani Umayyah would ever be in power. He said, the people, if they were allowed to have a glimpse of Ali ibn Abi Talib, no one from Bani Umayyah would ever be in power. Therefore, the second way was what? Second way was to curse his name on the public, on the pulpits. The third way was what? The third way was a phenomenal way. Get every hater of Ali ibn Abi Talib to write hadiths. And the more haters of Ali write hadith, the more his legacy would be destroyed. You know, I've done a study, and I'd like to share the study with all of you. I've done a study on the basis of the narrators of hadith from Bukhari, from Muslim, from many of the main works of Ahlul Sunnah, yes? When you look at the narrators, what do you normally do when you look at the hadith? You straight away look at the chain of narrators, correct or no? When you look at the chain of narrators, your next task is what? Your next task is to make sure that you go and look at their biographies, correct? The books you'd normally go to, there are two main books. Either Tahdhib al-Tahdhib or Taqrib al-Tahdhib. One of them is the work of Dhahabi and the other is the work of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, yes? These two scholars, what do? they take the names of every narrator of hadith in early Muslim history. Correct or no? When I'm saying early Muslim history, I'm talking the period of the lives of the imams. People who narrate hadiths, they take their names. Under their names, they write their biographies. Correct? So for example, if they take Ammar bin Yasir, they say Ammar bin Yasir, early convert to Islam, lover of Rasulullah. His parents were the first martyrs in Islam. Correct or no? They write the biography. I studied the sheikhs of Bukhari, the sheikhs of Muslim, the people Bukhari and Muslim take hadiths from. Many of them, you might find even 30, 40 of them are Shia, let's say, no problem, followers of Ahlalbayt. But then there are some you find, when you read their biographies, an amazing fact emerges. And I'll name you who they are. Under their names, it's written, under their names, reliable narrator of hadith, reliable narrator of hadith, reliable narrator of hadith. So when you see this, you're like, this is amazing. This person's a reliable narrator, let me take. The next line under it, it says, has a major hatred for Ali ibn Abi Talib. Take hadiths from him. When you read that, you're like thinking, hold on, wait. Our brothers in Ahl Sunnah today, if you ask them, do you love Ali ibn Abi Talib? Every single one of them would say yes. Do you agree or no? Do you agree? If you ask any of our brothers in Ahl Sunnah today, do you love Ali ibn Abi Talib? Won't all of them say yes? I want to ask my brothers in Ahl Sunnah one question. Do you believe it was always like this? They'll say to you, yes. Say why? They say, because we believe there are 4 rightly guided Khulafa: Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali. I asked them, it doesn't seem like that at the beginning of Islam. This seems to be a later myth. Say why? I say because the early reliable narrators of hadith was on whether they hated Ali. The more you hate Ali, the more chance your hadith would be narrated. Let me give you examples of names who are taken hadiths from. Someone like, for example, if you look at the likes of whom? Hariz bin Uthman al-Himsi. Hariz bin Uthman al-Himsi. Under his name it is written, very reliable narrator of hadith, has major hatred for Ali ibn Abi Talib. How? How can someone be reliable if they hate Ali? If early Islam loved Ali, how are you taking hadith from someone who hates Ali? The biggest myth in early Islam was every Muslim loved Ali. It's a myth they created later. In early Islam, the classification of a reliable narrator of hadith is someone who hated Ali ibn Abi Talib. Hariz bin Uthman is the same man who narrates the famous hadith. You know what he says? You know the hadith I quoted earlier? Ali is to me like Harun was to Musa. Hariz bin Uthman, Bukhari takes hadiths from him. Yes? Hariz bin Uthman said, this hadith is not true. He said, what do you mean it's not true? He said, this hadith is not true. So what do you mean? He said, they got the spelling wrong. They got what wrong? The spelling. He said to him, what do you mean they got the spelling wrong? He said, it shouldn't be Ali is to me like Harun is to Musa. It should be Ali is to me like Qarun was to Musa. Who's Fir'aun? Who's Musa's 3 main enemies in the Quran? Fir'aun, Haman, and who's the 3rd? Qarun. Correct or no? What does the hadith say? Ali is to me like Harun is to Musa. I said, no, you forgot the dots on the top. How do you write Harun in Arabic? What if you put 2 dots on top? What will it look like? Qarun. He built children and institutions on the fact that this hadith didn't refer to Ali being good. It referred to Ali being a nemesis for the Prophet Muhammad. For hundreds of years in Syria, in Palestine, in Jordan, children were taught that Ali ibn Abi Talib's relationship to Rasulullah is like that of Qarun to Musa. That's who? All of the work of whom? This person, Hariz bin Uthman. Who else do you have? Maswar bin Makrama. You know Maswar bin Makrama is seen as a very reliable narrator of hadith in Ahl Sunnah. You know Maswar bin Makrama is the man, you know the hadith, Fatima is a part of me. Whoever angers her, angers me. You've all heard the hadith, correct? Bukhari narrates the hadith. Fatima is a part of me. Whoever angers me. Normally, when you hear that hadith in majalis, you think, subhanallah, those who hurt Fatima al-Zahra, how could they hurt her? How could they be evil towards her? You know where I'm going, correct? You know what the sharh of this hadith is? According to Maswar bin Makhrama, he says this hadith is an attack on Ali ibn Abi Talib. So what do you mean it's an attack on Ali ibn Abi Talib? He said Ali ibn Abi Talib went behind Fatima al-Zahra's back to propose to Abu Jahl's daughter Juwayriyah. He went to propose without Fatima al-Zahra knowing. So Fatima al-Zahra found out. When Fatima al-Zahra found out, she went to Rasulullah. She said to him, Ya Rasulullah, how dare that Ali ibn Abi Talib go behind my back? How dare he go to marry and propose for the daughter of Abu Jahl? That Ali ibn Abi Talib has angered me. Rasulullah, as soon as he heard this, he said, everyone gather in the mosque. He stood up on the pulpit and he said, it's not for me to make halal that which is haram, or haram that which is halal. But Ali ibn Abi Talib today has done something which is prohibited for him. Ali ibn Abi Talib has angered Fatima al-Zahra. And know that whoever angers Fatima has angered me. And whoever angers me has angered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today Ali ibn Abi Talib has angered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fatima is a part of me. Was never taught as an attack on others. It was always taught to children for hundreds of years. As the moment Allah became angry with Ali ibn Abi Talib. Tell me, Ali ibn Abi Talib has no better father-in-law to go for than Abu Jahl? Even if you just look at the hadith like that. You want Abu Jahl to be your father-in-law? Number one, Hariz. Number two, who? Maswar bin Makhrama. Number three, Samara bin Jundub. Samara bin Jundub. Under his name, it's written, hater of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Very reliable in hadith. Take a lot from him. This Samara bin Jundub, Muawiyah comes to him. He said, there's an ayah in the Quran praises Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, which one? He said, Surah 2, verse 207. The verse says, and there are those who sell their souls for Allah. Correct or no? He said, that ayah in the Quran, everyone uses it to praise Ali. Samara said, yes, you're right. It's about him on the night of Hijrah. He gave his soul, his body away, apparently for Muhammad. He slept in his bed on that night. He said, yes. He said to him, Samara, is there any way we can change the meaning of this ayah? He said, what, you want me to change the Quran? He said, no, not the Quran. The tafsir of this ayah. He said, what do you want me to make the tafsir? He said, change it. Don't say it's revealed about Ali on the night of Hijrah. Say it's a prophecy about Ibn Muljam. He said, what do you mean? He said, say that Allah prophesies there will be a man who one day loses his life for the sake of Allah. That man is Ibn Muljam when he kills Ali in the mosque of Kufa. Samara looks. He says to him, how much will you pay me for this? He said to him, 100,000 dinar. He said, what? 100,000 dinar to make sure children are brought up hating Ali ibn Abi Talib forever? He said 200,000. He said more, 300. There is a narration which says he paid him 800,000 dinar to make the ayah reveal about Ali ibn Abi Talib. Imagine. They went to that extent. They made sure Hariz bin Uthman, Maswar bin Makhrama. They made sure, for example, Samara bin Jundub, Al-Karabis al-Baghdadi, Imran bin Hattan, Imran bin Hussein. Name after name of people who either their grandfathers were killed at Siffin and hated Ali, or they fought Ali and hated Ali. You would find in the books of hadith of Dhahabi and of Ibn Hajar, under their names, it says very clearly that this person hates Ali. Take as many hadiths as you can from them. Did anyone stand up against these people or no? Yes. From Ahlul Sunnah and from the Tashayyu', there are people, because of them, we are able to praise Ali ibn Abi Talib in this series of lectures. From Ahlul Sunnah, the first of them, Imam al-Shafi'i said, if my love of Ali as the wali of Rasulullah is called Rafd, or calls me a Rafidi, then I am the first of the Rafidis. Imam al-Shafi'i, who today in the Muslim world, more than 25% of the people follow his fiqh, he knew there was a time that to love Ali ibn Abi Talib was seen as a negative point on a Muslim. He said, if my love for the wali is determined as rejection, then I'm the first of the rejectors. More than that, our brothers in Ahlul Sunnah have 6 Sahih books. Do you agree with me or no? Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Tirmidhi, yes, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, and what's the last one? And Nasa'i, correct or no? Many of you would have read the book Sunan and Nasa'i. Have any of you ever asked that Nasa'i, one of the authors of the 6 most important books of Hadith in Ahl Sunnah, do you know how Nasa'i died? He died because he wanted to praise Ali ibn Abi Talib publicly. They beat him to death. They came to him, they said to him, in your book, you have much praise of Ali and nothing for Muawiyah. Why? He said, to tell you the truth, if I was to live from now until the day of judgment, I could never write the merits of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib's merits are many. They said to him, how about Muawiyah? He said, Muawiyah, the only merit I've ever read about the man is that Rasulullah said, however much Muawiyah eats, his stomach will never be full. He said, I promise if I had any other hadith of praise, I would include it. Why would I be scared? He said, Ali ibn Abi Talib has all these praises. Muawiyah has none. But if you want me to include, I will. Do you know what they did to him? They beat the man to death. They beat him. They hit his testicles. They hit his intestines. They beat him and beat him. Go to any of our brothers in Ahl Sunnah today. Say, which are the 6 books you respect the most? They'll say to you, Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, and Nasa'i. Say, Nasa'i, how did he die? None of them will know. Tell them he died because he tried to protect Ali ibn Abi Talib's legacy on this earth. From Ahl Sunnah, Imam al-Shafi'i. From Ahl Sunnah, Imam al-Nasa'i. But from the world of the school of Ahlalbayt, those who lost their lives for their love of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Wallah, when you look at their names, if it wasn't for them, none of us would ever know Ali ibn Abi Talib today. The first of them, as a beacon of light on this earth, Hujr bin Adi al-Kindi. First, Hujr bin Adi, when Muawiyah is about to kill him, he says to him, as an Arab, you have a last wish. What do you want? He said, kill my son first. There, pointing to him. Kill my son first. He said, sorry? He said, kill my son. That man who they destroyed his grave in Sham. Kill my son first. He said, that's your last wish as a father? He said, yes. Very well. They came to his son, took the knife, beheaded his son. He smiled. Alhamdulillah. He said to him, why do you smile? We just beheaded your son. Why would you ask for your son to be killed ahead of you? He said, I had to make sure my son died on the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, if I died before him, he might have loved that man in Sham. But I saw my son die loving Ali. What else do I want in my life but to face Allah knowing I brought up a child loving Amir al-Mu'mineen? Now when you kill me, I smile. Because I'm ready to face Allah saying, I brought up a man who praised Abu Turab, and who loved Abu Turab, and who honored Abu Turab, and looked after the legacy of Abu Turab. Hujr bin Adi al-Kindi stood up, lost his life, so Ali ibn Abi Talib's name remains alive. Amr bin Hamaq al-Khuza'i was beheaded so that Ali ibn Abi Talib's name remains alive. You find Kumail ibn Ziyad. In front of him, Hajjaj looks at Kumail. If you leave the way of Abu Turab, I'll give you whatever you want and release you. Kumail looked at him and he said, show me a way better than Abu Turab, I'll take it. There is no way like the way of Abu Turab. He beheaded him. Maytham al-Tammar stood in front of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad crucified him on the tree. Maytham al-Tammar stood in front of him and he was praising Amir al-Mu'mineen day and night, day and night. Fada'il after fada'il after fada'il after fada'il. He came, Ibn Ziyad said, you know what? I will kill you if you continue praising Ali. He looked at him and he said, I don't care if you kill me. My master told me I'll die praising him. You will fulfill the wish of my master and his prophecy. At that moment, Ibn Ziyad said, very well, then I will not kill you. So your master has proved wrong. Maytham in the darkness of the night would call out to the people, oh people, do you know who my master is? Imam al-Muttaqeen, Sayyid al-Wasiyyin, Asad Allah al-Ghalib, Madhar al-Ajaib, Talib fawqa kulli talib. And he would continue and continue and continue. And the people would listen to him praise until Ibn Ziyad came with a spear and stuck it through Maytham's neck and cut his tongue at that moment. Do you think if it wasn't for Maytham and Hujr and Amr and Kumail and Salman and Abu Dhar and Miqdad and Jabir and Adi bin Hatim al-Ta'i and the likes of these, wallah, we would never have Ali ibn Abi Talib today.